right there. And then they start arguing back and forth. But if you didn't catch that, that's been my biggest issue with him his whole career. The main issue is to win the fight. So we get that. You win the fight. I've never taken anything away from him. He wins the fight. Some of Devin Haney's wins, there is no question. There is no dispute whether he won the fight. The issue is exactly what he said. And I've always said that I feel like a defensive style is way more harder than any other style in boxing because those dudes are fast, they're agile, they dodge punches, and they counter, and they have to give offense. It's the hardest thing to do in boxing. But Devin Haney doesn't technically do that because what Devin does is he builds a lead and then he does this thing called coasting where once he feels like he's got a lead, anytime you get within proximity of him, he he grabs you. And I think is smart. There's nothing wrong, but the difference is if you watch Abdullah Mason, you watch Teofimo Lopez, you watch Ryan Garcia, even Richardson Hitchens to an extent doesn't clinch like that. When they're in close, they fire back with an uppercut, a body shot over the top. Devin gets a lead on you and he just does this whole I'm gonna grab you. And that's not disrespect. He still wins the fight. But I've always had an issue with that. And I feel like if you're getting paid a lot of money, I'm just asking for a little bit more. That's all. By the way, the dudes in the UFC, they say the same thing. They got an issue with the dude Makachev. That dude's like the dominant fighter in the UFC right now. He's like Khabib. Nobody's beating him, but they don't like how he just takes a dude down to the ground, and if he can't submit him, it's just 5 rounds of getting a dude down to the ground and just laying on top of him. Nobody is arguing whether he's dominant. Nobody's. That's what I'm saying. Two things can be true at the same time. I don't remember the last time if I was in a room with a bunch of boxing pugilists or a bunch of boxing fans, hardcore boxing fans, and I said, let's all pick some fights to watch in the past 10 years, or not even 5 years. I don't think anybody would be like, put that Devin Haney and Gamboa on, or put Devin Haney and JoJo on. Ironically, his most exciting fights, the Linares, the Loma, and the Ryan fight, to me, were his most exciting fights. And so I gave Devin a lot of credit, bro. I don't think it's right for people to be shitting on what he did because you got to understand his mindset. I still don't think he's mentally all there from Ryan. And he did look scared when he fought Brian Norman Jr. And I think he surprised himself when he dropped him. And I give him credit for trying to finish him. But I just watched the fight over again. And after he dropped him, after a couple of rounds went by, he did the same thing. He just went right back to clinching. Like, I got the lead. I'm good. Now, I get it. If you're a fan of him, you're going to be like, bro, is hit and not get right. That's my whole thing. I've gotten into this argument plenty of times with people. To me, that's not the same thing as what Pernell was doing, or what Pretty Boy was doing, or what Winky Wright was doing, or what Bernard Hopkins was doing, or James Toney was doing. It's not the same because they didn't clinch like that. They didn't clinch that much. I think you should get penalized for clinching that much, bro. So no, I'm not saying drop your hands and throw bolos. I'm just saying people, and I do think Devin gets unfair criticism as well. I do. I do. I've been trying to work on that, but every time I try to explain what I'm explaining, they say I'm hating on it. I'm not. I'm not. The kid's dominant when he wins, bro. He's really good. I just, I'm sorry, bro. I'm a boxing fan, and sometimes I take time out of my day. I still pay for these pay-per-views. Give me some excitement. You saw when Abdullah. Now look, this is crazy. I know it's different styles, but Abdullah Mason just fought a power puncher. What was he doing when they got within arm's length? What was he doing? Huh? He was firing back. And I think Noakes hit harder than Abdullah Mason. Harder. He was trying to get that dude out of there. To the point where Abdullah Mason's brother was in the corner and was like, "What are you doing, bro? Throw jabs. The fight will be a lot easier." But he don't want an easy fight, bro. He wants to get the dude out of there. That's instinct. That's fighter's instinct, bro. I gravitate to fighters with instinct. That's it. But no, he does got pop though. That's the thing. He does have pop because he's dropping some of these dudes, bro. Speed, when you have speed and pinpoint accuracy, he hurt Brian Norman. He hurt Brian Norman. Brian Norman wasn't Brian Norman wasn't that I don't think that was a flash knockdown. I think Brian Norman was hurt, bro. I think he was hurt. What's going on, Hawker? Yeah, that's all. That's all when it comes to Devin. That, that's all, bro. That basically that's all. I don't have anything against him, bro. Like y'all should know. Like I just made a whole video giving him his respect. I was getting on people for saying don't take that away from him because I actually believe what he did this weekend. Believe it or not, I know some of y'all look at it as boring. That's the best you're gonna get from Devin, and I actually give him respect for that, bro. Because I think the frame of mind that he's been in, and to me, he's always fought scary. So, but the thing is, though, I feel like that should be a normal day at the office for any fighter making millions of dollars. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. It's a heart issue, bro. It's a heart issue. But anyway, let me ask a question. Bianca, are you still here? You still here? Let me know. Put a comment if you're still watching, Bianca. Um, no. Okay, here goes the thing with Norman. Here goes the thing with Norman. Obviously, there was a skill set difference, right? Um, there was a skill set difference, but he was still rated number one. I just wanted to know if anyone from the true crime community is still here. Just put a comment in the thing because I'm gonna talk about that in a second. Because that's one of the things I wanted to talk about too. Is the I've been thinking, I've been thinking that maybe I should just do instead of me just leaving boxing because I'm literally like this close. I'm like, okay, wait a second. I've seen plenty of other people have channels where they do multiple things. I could still talk boxing and then I don't know, maybe drop edited videos for true crime and just put them on a playlist. I mean, I could do whatever I want. It's my channel. But yeah, I was thinking about that, but that's weird, right? That's a weird combo. That's like a girl that's pregnant with the weird ass food combos. But I do like true crime, bro. And the community is different over there because, yeah, you know what I'm thinking about? I'll drop true crime videos and I'll put them on a playlist and I'll still do boxing here. I'm thinking that's what I'll do. So this way, y'all that rock with me, I won't stop that. But I was really close because it's different over there. It's different. Cause yo, believe it or not, bro, I love boxing, bro. I do. I do. But I also feel like the direction that the sport is taking, bro, in a couple years, you realize how different the sport is gonna be. And it's not just boxing, by the way. It's not. The UFC, even the WWE. I give it about 5 years. I give it about 5 years. And this sport's gonna be very different than what you're seeing right now. It's already transforming. It's already transforming. as we speak. Um, and once Turk Al-Sheikh leaves, there's gonna be a problem. Turk Al-Sheikh is a human being, and let's not forget that a couple years ago the man said that he, if you remember, everyone forgets it now, but y'all remember the video where he said that he's got health issues. The interview where he said that he was going to be putting money into the undisputed game as like a sponsor, remember? And he's talked about Crawford, and this is way before the Canelo fight. And they asked him, "Why are you doing this?" And he said, "Because he's a boxing fan, and but that he's not the best of health, and that if he can help it, he wants to see the best fight the best." Y'all remember that? Yeah, he looks healthy now, right? But you never know. But here goes the thing, Tycho. If that man passes away, like his love of the sport is the reason why we're getting these fights right now. All it takes is for one person to be like, no, I don't, no, no, I don't feel like paying these guys that. And it'll go right back to what it's doing. So enjoy the wave now. I ain't wishing the man nothing. I hope the man stay healthy. I don't care whether it's in Saudi Arabia or not. I don't go to these fights anyway. So if the worst I gotta do is watch boxing at a different time, I'll take that L every day, bro. I'll take that L. If the worst that happens to me is I gotta watch it at a different time and see the best fight the best or get good fights, I'll take that over than them being here. You know what I mean? But even the UFC, you saw the UFC next week. Is it? Is it next week? UFC took away their pay-per-view and they're changing their model. Yeah, I mean it is what it is, man. But like I said, the you all right, put it like this. Well, one of the things here goes a crazy thing. So one of the cases I was looking at, y'all heard of that? I don't know if y'all that heard of it, but y'all heard of the that Idaho 4 case, right? The dude that got locked up with those college kids, I think it was years ago. The Brian Koberger guy. Um that case is one of the most bizarre cases I've ever seen in my life. One of the most bizarre cases I've ever seen in my life, bro. And I think and it's because I think the media lies to us. I think they lied with Charlie Kirk. I think they lied with that case too. I think the media lies to us. Yeah, so I had a video. Here goes the crazy thing. So the past 2 weeks I was working on this video that I was going to be dropping, a true crime video. And I go to turn on my Wondershare, and at least 3 videos, including 2 boxing videos, got erased off the app. I had 2 true crime videos ready to go, and I had like 2 boxing videos. I had one on the Devin Haney and Max Kellerman that we talked about, and I had one on Teofimo Lopez and Shakur. All got erased. But I'll show you some of the things that I've been looking at. I could tell you that right now. I didn't Devon, don't come here with your racial shit, bro. I didn't celebrate Thanksgiving because my black Aboriginal indigenous ancestors were genocided. Yeah, well, I that's like so Devon, cut your shit, bro. It's too early for this shit. Real quick, while I'm grabbing these files with the true crime thing, Devon, what you thought about your you like Devin? I'm pretty sure you like Devin. You pro black, right? You like anything black, right? Yeah. So you going for Shakur? Oh yeah. By the way, and before I pull up the true crime thing, y'all keep doubting Tiafimo against Shakur. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead. I think T.O. poses a very big threat to Shakur Stevenson. Very big threat. Let me pull this up. So yeah, the I don't know if I could show these pictures, but yeah, so I was working on this case. What the hell? Hold on. Click, share screen. What the hell? Oh, okay, hold on. I go through it this way, like this. Oh, I got you. So yeah, okay, so you got file. So you know what? I could just go to share screen. Hold on. Before I go to share screen, let me pull this up. Cause I don't want y'all looking at my personal files and taking I know some of y'all, I don't trust some of y'all. Um yeah, so window. I could do window like that. Boom. I could do that. Can y'all see that? Is it there? Hold on. Oh yeah. Y'all can see that, right? So I've been reading all these files in regards to this case, bro. Um, I'm like obsessed with this case because we're being lied to. It's really what's going on. We're being lied to. And I find similarities to this case. It's crazy as hell. Do you know what I find similar? Be for those that don't know, and I'm pretty sure whoever is watching that does know this case. I find similarities in this case in Charlie Kirk and JFK. In the sense that I think it's quite obvious when the authorities are lying to you. And it's sad because we live in a time where people are believing the most gullible things. And look, I'm not the biggest conspiracy theorist. I'm not the type of guy that goes, well, I don't believe everything this guy says. But bro, there are some things that you really have to use your head. And before I get into the case, like the whole Charlie thing, look, it ain't about whether you like the guy or don't like the guy. It's just when you look at the story, it doesn't make any sense. You know, I didn't graduate college, but I went to college for a couple semesters. We had some speakers go to the college. And that's a small college I was at. They have security and they don't tell you where the guy is going to be. They just tell you the day and time. And you look at what they present to you and it's like, use your brain. That's not something you think of that day. That's not something you go, well, I don't like what this guy's saying. So today I'm going to take my daddy's thing and gun and I'm gonna just go there and I'm gonna just find a roof, bro. That shit don't work like that, bro. And if you think that, bro, it's seriously, bro, it doesn't work like that. That's prior knowledge. Yeah, I know about my people, bro, but you trying to change, you always do that. I forgot there's a name for you. I know you support me, but you've been doing this for years. So I saw similarities with JFK too, with this Idaho 4 case. So if you don't know about the Idaho 4 case, just a quick, there's no way you shouldn't know. But 4 college kids, right, were killed supposedly by one guy in a span of 20 minutes. At least that's what they said. And I remember when that case happened, I was like, something doesn't seem right about this case, bro. Just something doesn't seem right. And at first, all they had was a white car. And then months later, they arrest this dude. And then the similarities I saw with the JFK case was anytime they're like, anytime they want to put it like this, anytime you see a gag order with anything, you should be suspicious. You should be suspicious. Epstein gag order, you should be suspicious. Charlie Kirk gag order, you should be suspicious. Idaho 4 gag order, you should be suspicious. Now, people like to use the whole, they put a gag order on there because if it's a famous case, it can affect the trial. I believe that to an extent. But the fact of the matter is, they put gags order on this case like it was up there with the JFK or something. Like, in all respect to the victims, people get killed every day. People get killed every day, bro. So the fact that they went out of their way for this case was mind-boggling. Then the files come out. So basically, what I was working on was obviously after the gag order got lifted with this case, right? You can actually go in. You can actually, and this is why I love the true crime community. Like you can actually go in, bro, and get these and get the you can get the actual investigation. Um and I've been going through the investigation. I feel like a damn detective doing this shit. And the more that I read about this, the more I realize, bro, it ain't nothing happened the way that they said happened. And I ended up making a video about this, and it got deleted, bro. And sometimes I wonder if that's like a sign from if that's like a sign, but I'm not gonna show it here today because I have to actually what I found, I can't just say it. I have to kind of like lead up to it. And I actually tried to go to all other true crime people to see if anybody talked about this. The thing that I found, nobody. Even all the top dudes that cover this, like the dudes like Pavarotti and there's a lot of channels that I respect too. I watch like the Chaos Theory and Truth and Transparency and all these other people and just all these people. Now, one person talked about this one thing that I found. Yeah, I think that's I think that's possible, and that's not so hard to think of too. That's not so hard to think of. So look, let me tell you what about the case with the Idaho 4 that doesn't make any sense. Okay, when you look right, so I've talked about this case so many times, but technically there was 6 roommates at the house, right? Got 6 roommates at the house. Um, Where is it at? Right here. Um. Oh, wait a second. Hold on. What am I doing? Hold on. Okay, there you go. Um, the 4. Okay, so because I'm using this free ass account, I'll just do it this way. So right here, right? There were 6 people. There were 6 people in the house that night, right? And the 2 girls you see on the left, the one, oh damn, I can't do it at the same time. The girl, this blonde hair girl right here on the left, and this blonde hair girl here on the right survived. These 2 were unalive. These 2 were unalived. And when it first happened, they told you that they basically told you that a person was just basically picked the house. Person just picked the house, went up in there, did that to them, and that's it. Like that's all you knew. Then as time went by, they arrested somebody who they said was taking criminology classes at the college and left. His DNA was on a little bit of like this knife sheath, right? But this is how I knew. It was crazy because when it first happened, they told you. Because think about it, one person, 4 people. That alone it already got my attention. One person, 4 people. That already has me like, wait a second. It's not that I don't think that one person can kill 4 people. I do. I do. But when you find out that apparently they want you to believe that he parked the car, did it in 20 minutes and left, that's when I'm like, no, wait a second. So the first thing they told the public was they were sleeping. That these people were sleeping. And but then they had a gag order on there and they didn't want to give out any information. And then I don't know, so he pled guilty or whatever. And then afterwards, after he pled guilty, they lift the gag order. And now all this information is coming out. And you look at the injuries to the people that were unalived in the house, and it's clear as day that they had marks on them that looked like they were tortured. And like the boy Ethan, I'm looking at his marks and I'm like, that dude, he looks like he was either tied up in a fight or something. One girl was over 50 times with a knife, which is crazy. The other girl, her face was unrecognizable, and they can't even tell you the weapon that was used on her. They can't even tell you. And then, of course, the other girl was laying next to her, and they were in the same bed. Just a lot of odd things, bro. A lot of odd things, bro. Then the video, like months later, came out with like you could. They got surveillance from like 3 different areas, and then there's this audio that you could listen to, and you could tell that they're saying that they were unalived around 4, but you could tell by listening. I don't even know if the audio is accurate, but something definitely happened around like 2 o'clock. You could hear fighting. 3 o'clock, 3 something, you see someone park a car, you clearly hear a clock with a gun. You clearly hear a gun. I just saw a video of somebody who actually drove there the other day. He was there with his car. Took a cell phone video to kind of give people an idea. And when I saw his video today, I'm like, wow. That the whole area is just tiny. It's not big at all, which is crazy because everybody there was like they didn't hear nothing. They're in a college area. All these people that live next door, we didn't hear nothing. How do you not hear nothing? The Idaho 4. You can actually watch it on Amazon, Tycho. You have Amazon Prime? Yeah, they actually have a documentary. Now, I want to tell you, Tycho, you'll understand this because you're a boxing fan. You're a boxing fan, so I know that and you're my guy, so you know what I mean by this. You know how there's a difference between watching ESPN boxing and hardcore boxing fans YouTube? You know the difference, right? Mainstream media and the hardcores, right? I've always said this, even though I don't agree with a lot of boxing content creators, if you want to get the real shit about boxing, you come to YouTube and you go online and you go to the rugged dudes that watch boxing every day. They're going to give you a way better outlook on boxing than a dude on ESPN on a panel. And you understand what I mean. It's the same thing with this case, Tycho. It's the same thing. If you watch CNN or you watch Ashley Banfield or you watch any of these mainstream medias, they're going to give you the cookie cutter shit that doesn't make any sense, bro. What's going on, HOD? My brother, I miss you, bro. No homo. They're going to give you the cookie cutter case. They want you to believe that this man went up there and did that to 4 people in 20 minutes. And when you read the evidence, you realize ain't nothing point to this man, bro. Nothing. Nothing. Nothing, bro. And that's why the case puzzles me. Because I like to get my brain working. And this shit, there's so many twists and turns. And what's crazy is, like I said, the red flags I've seen with this case, I saw similar red flags with I know I'm not just saying it just to say it, no bullshit, because I just watched the JFK documentary. I watched 2 JFK documentaries last week. And I watched documentaries about how the government uses media to relay things to the public and what they're allowed to do and what they're not allowed to do. And Obama had amended, what is it? When you add on, there was a law that was already made, right? That the government, there is a law that and it's worded funny, but there's a law that allows our government to use media for their purposes. All they have to do is say that it's for the good, it's for the gooder, how it's for the better for us, like it's for the better of America. So basically, they can use media and lie or persuade you or not totally tell the truth if they can somehow prove that it's to further America, to better Americans, right? And they don't have to tell you when they're doing that. You know what that sounds like to me? That sounds like we need an excuse to go invade this country so we can get some money or oil or whatever. Okay, well, yeah, we'll put a video out that they attacked us. Put a video out that some terrorists did this. I'm a veteran, bro. I'm 100% service connected. I'm telling you. That's stuff that they do. Do I think they do it all the time? I don't know. But I know it's been done before. I know the CIA has admitted to lying. I know the CIA is on record saying that I just saw something where you can actually look it up. Where the CIA like literally admits that they had something to do with Martin Luther King. Not necessarily saying that they unalived him, but they admit that they admit that they were paying black people to like get in that movement with Malcolm X, Martin Luther King. Well, why would they do that? That's not weird. So I look at the stuff that happened with those other cases, and I've seen similarities with this Idaho 4 case. And the more that I read about this case, like I think something happened there. Do I think people died? Yeah, I think people died, but something happened there that caused them to do what they're doing, or to do what they did, and it had to have been huge because people die every day, my guy. People get killed every day. People get stabbed every day. People get shot every day. But yeah, you look into the Idaho 4 thing and you realize something happened over there in that area, bro. And whatever happened, they don't want to tell you what happened. And it's just like in boxing, bro. It's just like in boxing, right? When somebody says the whole, when somebody plays the whole, when somebody plays the whole racial shit, right? And or they're always talking about race, right? And you're like, bro, just get over it already, right? You know how you feel like that sometimes? Well, you're gonna have people, if you look at a case and you get the case files and you're reading the case files, and every case file you read, you're like, that's not what the main street, that's not what they said. They told you that the kids were sleeping, right? 2 of them were sleeping, 3 of them were sleeping. Then you get the case, the results back. And it literally is showing you defensive wounds. Well, how can you have defensive wounds if you're sleeping? You can't. Defensive wounds be like in boxing, defense. Your hand is up, you're blocking. Your knee is up, your elbow is up. They had defensive wounds on them. The boy that died, Ethan, they said he was sleeping when it first came out. They said he was sleeping and somebody came up, or the dude got the drop on him or whatever. And then you read these injury reports and you realize he's got injuries on his knuckles. He's got an injury on his thigh. He's got scrapes. The other girl, they said her name was Maddie, was laying next to the girl Kaylee. They said she was sleeping. She's got defensive wounds all over the place. So now you're reading this and you're like, they didn't tell us that. Then you read more. There was a forensic. They've been dropping. I keep forgetting a lot of y'all boxing fans. They've been dropping. There was a gag order on the case, and they were dropping evidence every couple of months. So you got to like go to like the website and check like the docs and stuff like that, right? And on Halloween, ironically, on Halloween, bro, on Halloween, whose great idea was that? They dropped this forensic, a whole but like what was it? I don't know how many pages, hundreds of pages in regards to the forensic evidence on there. And I go and I look at that and I'm reading about, where is it at? And I'm like, how, like, this is crazy. Like, somebody should be charged, bro, for lying. Blatant lies. Where's it at? Just blatant lies. I got it right here. Forensic latest drop. Hold on. 2,000. What? How many pages is this? 2,356. All of this DNA and evidence, bro. Right? Fingernail clippings, all this stuff. There goes to the sheath that they said they had the DNA on the guy, right? So I start reading through all of this. Like, I'm not even a fifth way through. And one of the things that kept catching my eye was I have to find it. There's so many thousands of pages. There I'm reading literally where the police are saying things like and saying things like and I gotta find it. I should have found it. I didn't know I'd be long into this. Saying things like yeah, this is from this area where we tested this area, showed evidence of a cleanup. I'm like, cleanup? Because remember, the guy did this in 20 minutes, y'all. They told you a dude went in there, right? They told you a dude went in there, picked the house out of random. We're not even getting into the roommates yet because 2 roommates were left alive. 2 women was left alive. And their stories do not add up at all. But yeah, he picked this random house out of nowhere, which by the way, when you look at where this house is picked out of, bro, it's insane. Nobody's picking that house. You'd got to be a dumbass to pick that house. You got to be a dummy. That house is right across the street from a frat location. There's a lot of frat houses, but what makes that house different from other houses is the way of the land. You look at the lay of the land. It's literally, it would catch your eye, in my opinion. There's apartment buildings on one side. It's in an area where there's a funnel. It's just, bro, put it like this. It's a horrible area. You're not gonna pick that, bro. But they want you to believe that this kid picked that house, went up in there, and this is the video that this is what they showed people, and I keep forgetting some of y'all are hearing this for the first time. This is what they showed people to make you believe that he did this. This is what they showed the public, bro. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Yes. Entire screen. Yes. Also, you guys haven't had any problem hearing anything I've been playing, right? Just real quick. You haven't been like when I played you those other videos, did you hear it? Because an option just something just popped up on my screen and said I need to click something so you guys can hear it. I don't want to click that because I don't want to mess nothing up. You guys heard everything I showed you, right? Or was it on mute? I'll just do it anyway. So when I played another thing, like when I played the you was here earlier, Tycho, when I played Max Kellerman and I was talking about Devin Haney, did you hear Max Kellerman talking or no? Because it's important, because what I'm about to show you, you need to hear. Matter of fact, here, I hold on. Okay, I'll test it right now. I'll test it. Hold on. Can you guys hear?
An armed home invasion at an Airbnb rental turned into a shootout in Osceola County that happened earlier this month in the Champions Gate area of Davenport. The sheriff says 5 people are now behind bars.
Did you hear that? Yeah, you can hear that? Okay, perfect.
Nobody was injured.
All right.
A lot of damage to the house.
These photos of
Okay, perfect. Okay, hold on one second. Close this. Close this. Okay, so they said that the guy, here goes the video that they showed to the public about this guy, because this is what I mean by my brain being shocked. Because when this first happened, all they told you was 4 kids were killed with a knife, and that all they had on camera was a car. And this is what they showed that they were going to show. Mind you, the guy ended up pleading guilty, but that he's not guilty. In my opinion, he's not guilty. Obviously, the man was railroaded, and there's a lot of pressure that comes. That's a whole different story. There's a lot of pressure that comes to pleading guilty. Everyone looks at that and goes, "Oh, he pled guilty, bro." So many people have pled guilty to shit that they've never done before because they get charged with shit that they shouldn't have been charged with, and they're like confused why they're even there in the first place. Trust me, the shit wear and tears on you. You will plead guilty to something that you didn't do, especially if you think you're going to get the death penalty, because you're like, I shouldn't be here in the first place. Well, shit, if it got this far, what the hell's, you know what I mean? You start, because people always say that, oh, well, he pled guilty, bro. That doesn't mean anything. If you didn't do it and you got charged with unaliving 4 people and they told you we gonna give you life, I mean the death penalty, I guarantee you'd be shocked. Like, how did I even get here? And I guarantee you, if they kept putting pressure, you'd be like, you know what? I didn't do it, but I don't want the death penalty, bro. So I just plead guilty. And he got to plead guilty. He didn't have to explain why he did it. He didn't have to explain how he did it. He didn't have to explain nothing. Then on top of that, when he pled guilty, the prosecution sounded like his damn lawyer. I know I'm all over the place, but this case puzzles me, bro. The prosecution came out and said, This was not a sexually motivated crime. And we want to make it clear, we cannot put him at the house. We can't put him inside the house. This is what the prosecution is saying at the guy's sentencing, bro. Sounding like his dad. Like, I'm like, is that his lawyer? The prosecutor is saying that. They want you to believe that this is all they show, bro, for this case. Is this video right here. Hold up. Right here. Hold up. Here, I'll just play this for you, so you guys can hear what the mainstream media was trying to tell everybody. This is what the mainstream media was trying to tell you, bro. Lying ass motherfuckers, bro. Excuse my language. I've been trying to stop cursing.
Surveillance footage. Newly released surveillance footage, authorities say, shows confessed killer Bryan Kohberger driving around the house where minutes later he would murder 4 University of Idaho students. His white Hyundai Elantra seen circling the neighborhood several times, making 3 passes by that King Road home between 3:30 and 3:58 a.m., minutes before investigators say he entered the home. Around 4:17 a.m., you hear what sounds like a voice, followed by a loud thud. Then a dog can be heard barking. Investigators say that was a prominent sound.
The dog barking is probably the most consistent noise on that video.
The car seen leaving at a high rate of speed around 4:20 a.m., careening around the street. He tried to hide his movements by disabling his Wi-Fi and manually powering down his phone, according to the digital forensic experts who analyzed.
Now, here goes the crazy thing about what you just heard, bro. Here goes the crazy thing about what you just heard. So if you watch that, you think, wow, they got him on camera, right? First off, that's a black and white video. Okay, it's a black and white video. It's not even color, bro. And then you go watch the video. And you know what you hear? You hear a whole bunch of, you see a car coming back and forth. And then at like 4 something, you hear a thud and you hear a dog barking. And there's a whole bunch of stuff about this case, bro. People that know about this case, there's so much other stuff, bro. I could talk about this shit for months, but I'm just talking about that specific part of the video. You hear a thud and you hear a dog barking. And then you see somebody, you don't even see the person. You just see the car go, whoop. That's it. And all you hear is a dog barking. You hear a thud and a dog barking. That's it. So months later, when they drop the evidence, and you're seeing years later, where's it at? Attacked in 3 or 4. Is it 3? I think it's 3. Hold on. Let me see. Batch files 1, 2, 3. I'm gonna go with 2. States of witness list. When you get these reports, and you go to the injuries, this is why I say people that research this are puzzled, because they told you that 2 girls were sleeping up in one room. A girl and her boyfriend was in another room. And then there was 2 other roommates. One lived downstairs and one lived across from the boyfriend and girlfriend. And the boyfriend didn't actually live there. He was just there that day. But he was there all the time. And so what they basically told you is that he snuck into the damn second floor or whatever, and he found the 2 girls that was laying in the same bed, which I've always questioned. That sounds weird as hell, bro. I don't know if that's normal. I'm not a woman, but I don't know if women sleep in the same bed, but that's always seemed weird to me. But they were in the same bed, and apparently he kills one, and the other one's just laying there, y'all. She's just laying there. She doesn't hear nothing. She's just laying there. Kills the other one. And then the girl that's with the boyfriend hears something, and she goes upstairs. She sees what's going on. He chases her, and supposedly, over 50 times. And she's found laying 5 feet from her boyfriend, who apparently never moved out of the bed. He didn't hear nothing. Apparently, he was unalived in his sleep. That's what they basically told you. So even from the gate, people were like, none of this makes any sense. That's way too much noise, right? Like, these are just normal questions that people ask. Normal questions that people ask is like, that doesn't make any sense. That would take, first off, he only had 20 minutes. Second of all, it doesn't seem possible. So then when they release the damn evidence, bro, you start reading all these damn injuries on these people and the injuries on the knuckles and all these defensive wounds. But you know what made it even more crazier to me was 2 things. Number one, the video. My guy, how dumb do you think I am? If he did that to 4 people, how come all I hear on the video is a thud and a dog barking? Like, do you take me for an idiot, bro? You look at all those defensive wounds, bro. That shit would have made tons of noise. Let's not forget 2 people are left alive, y'all. Right? And then I'm reading I'm reading all the defensive wounds, but then on top of that, what made it even more crazier was when they dropped the 6,000 pages that they dropped on Halloween, y'all. They dropped it on Halloween. Y'all don't sound weird to you? Yeah, let's drop some more forensic evidence about this case. When do you want to drop it? Yeah, let's give it to them on Halloween. Let's give the public this information about these 4 kids being slaughtered. Let's give it to the public on Halloween. Huh? No, that's what I'm saying. You're talking to Champ? Yeah. So there was no all you hear is the dog barking, right? And all you hear is a thump. But then when you read the reports, there's all these defensive wounds. But then another thing that's also puzzling is I'm reading where they're saying, oh, well, we took a sample from this area and they marked it as an area where there was cleanup. Not 1, not 2, not 3, 4 areas, different areas of cleanup. They found a boot print outside where the girl and her boyfriend, they found a boot print that somebody tried to clean up. They found blood over on the banister. Apparently, what I'm reading is somebody tried to clean that up. The kitchen sink. And then there's by the slider door where he apparently entered the house. So now I want you to add that all up. Add that all up. So in 20 minutes, this man parks his car. Let's not forget he picks a random house. The most the, the most ridiculous house you would ever pick, bro. So here go. You can't be dumb. You can't be dumb and Jason Bourne at the same time. They want you to make it believe he's so dumb. He just left a knife sheath behind, right? Because that's a dumb thing to do. Leaves a knife sheath behind. The mainstream media makes fun of this guy, right? Oh, look, he looks slow. He looks autistic. They make fun of him. They do all this body shaming. Okay, so he's dumb, right? He's dumb. Okay. And I would admit, if you picked that house randomly, you would be dumb. But this guy did some shit that, like, I don't even think a Navy SEAL could do. This dude, so you're telling me he parks the car and in a span of 20 minutes, now looking at the evidence, he fought every single one of them. They were not easy 1, 2, 3 kills. They took minutes. You looking at the injuries, minutes. The boy was fighting back. The girl Maddie was fighting back. They all, Xana, over 50 something times, she fought for her life. So now you got one guy. Do you know how much energy it takes for you to unalive somebody, bro? I don't care if you're fat and out of shape. Do you know what the human body does when you're about to die? Do you know that you will instinctively fight, bro? You will instinctively fight. Even if you try to take your own and step on a ladder with a rope. That's why some people that do that, they try to find some insurance because you automatically kick out. Your body will fight automatically and stop yourself from passing out. Your body fights to survive. So he takes out one, he takes out two, he takes out three. Two of them, the injuries was like it took time. Then let's not forget, one of them is a grown-ass man, bro. And his girl is there, his love of his life. You saw somebody doing that to your girl. What are you doing, bro? You gonna lay in bed? They're telling you he laid in bed. Then in a span of 20 minutes, they want you to believe he then cleaned up in 4 different areas. Here goes the kicker, y'all. Here goes the kicker. Not only does he do all that in 20 minutes, right? Cleans up, right? All whatever. But he leaves 2 people alive, y'all. He leaves 2 other girls alive. He just says, you know what? I'm done. 4? Yeah, I'm good. Y'all 2, consider yourself lucky. I'm gonna leave y'all 2 alive. And 2 girls were left alive. And none of their stories add up. And then you read about their lies, and it's just one insane twist after another. It's like a damn Hollywood movie, bro. The girl said that she heard something and they were scared, and they ran into the room and they stayed in their room all night and they were scared to come out. You know how long it took them to call 911? 8 hours. 8 hours. And they said they woke up and they were scared, and they're in the same house with these people. They're texting them. Are you all right? Are you up? Are you all right, bro? Why do you text people? You're in the same house. Open up your door. If I'm in the same house, I'm not texting nobody downstairs. That's some lazy shit. No, you get up. If you're not answering, I'm gonna get out my house and I'm gonna walk downstairs and I'm gonna check on you. And apparently they were scared, so they called their friends over, and then their friends saw the scene that I've been describing to you. And they were left alive. Yeah, then the evidence comes out that they weren't sleeping. because they did a phone dump on the girls' phones, and you find out they were on TikTok. One of them was on the phone erasing files. The other one made a phone call to somebody they're not telling you. All this shit. And of course you think, well, then they did it, right? But then the more you look into this case, you just realize there's so many people I consider suspects more than the guy that's in prison right now. At least 10. At least more. Frat boys, drug dealers. The white car that keeps passing around. You start reading the investigative reports, and you realize there's a police car that was doing rounds that day. And that's another part of the case. There was a video released later on in the day where these two cops that were undercover cops who were acting shady all day pulled these frat boys over. That's about literally across the street. And their undercover car looks like that car. Bro, there's just so many things with that case. It's just crazy to me. Yeah, making a new contact. That's right. That's right. At 3:51. 3:51. She makes a new contact on her phone. They don't tell you who they made. Bro, this is insane, bro. Yo, the more I read this case, it pisses me off. It pisses me off because it's just straight up lies, bro. They're just lying to you. No, I don't think he did. Hawker, I don't think he did it. That's my whole point. That's my whole point. And it's a narrative, and it's how the mainstream media also that's another thing too. You know, if this man's innocent, that would make him a victim as well, bro. Wouldn't that make him a victim? If he didn't do it? Absolutely, in my opinion. Absolutely. Absolutely. So look, also months later, some footage came out, right? Now, the footage, I don't know how accurate the footage is. It's audio, but there's audio supposedly coming from, there's 3 different places, right? You got the footage that you saw, the car, right? The one that's the mainstream footage. That's called the Kings Road footage. That's actually the next door neighbor of where the crime occurred. Then you have one that's on Linda Lane. And then you have one that's called like the dumpster cam. They're all within, bro. I used to think that these footage were like far from each other in my mind, because I've been watching all these cases talk about it, and I'd be like, wow, that so on this camera it must be really far. It's not, bro. I just saw somebody, the dude's name is Devil's Advocate. His name is channel. He was driving there. He's actually there, or was there the other week. He was there with his wife, and he took footage of just that area to kind of give you an idea of how it looks. And everything is within everything is within walking distance. Everything. Like I could literally run to these places where we're hearing these sounds. Because there's this footage on Linda Lane. Mind you, they want you to believe that this happened at 4 a.m., right? Well, something happened around 2, according to the audio. Now, I don't know if it's real or not, because I've always had questions with the audio. Thank you. You could tell this person knows about the case. I've always questioned the audio, but I do believe there's truth in there. There's truth in there, bro. Because when you read the investigative reports, yeah, the missing time delta. I'm explaining this to people because I do boxing. So I don't want to bombard them with so much information. But yeah, you're talking about the time delta with Rosenthal and Gunderson, right? No, is it Gunderson and Rosie? The undercover, the Banfield stop you're talking about, right? And the time delta with the missing time. Yeah, I do believe there's something with that. I also believe that right before he pled guilty, there was a firefighter that was killed and some other people that was unalived around that area. And I think one of them could have been a credible witness. Anyway, there's a lot, but the shit gets real deep, bro. This is like JFK type shit, bro. I'm telling you, it's crazy, this case, bro. Absolutely insane. But something happens around the 2 a.m. mark that I'm hearing this guy's name that other people have been talking about for a long time. Now, sometimes when you hear something, your body kind of like, I don't know if you understand what I'm saying. Like if somebody plays you an audio, your brain might tell you to hear something that you know what I mean? Like if I said, yo, what do you hear right here? If I played you an audio of somebody screaming, I'm pretty sure two people could listen to that and have two way different, like one person might be like, oh, that person is saying Thomas. Another person might be like, he's not saying Thomas, he's saying got it. Do you understand what I'm saying? Because your brain tells you different things. I believe I hear this guy's name Farley. And it's a guy that people have talked about. And I've heard his name numerous times in that footage. What's crazy is I heard that name prior to me even knowing about the case. Because I remember one day I'm listening to the audio just before I started watching any of these channels. I'm like, who the hell's Farley? I heard that name. And then I learned about later who he was. And I'm like, wow, okay, that makes sense to me. But like I said, I don't know how accurate that damn audio is because everything about this case has been structured in a way where it's, in my opinion, it's on purpose to cause confusion to the public. You want to go down another rabbit hole? The parents act very weird for people that their kids got unalived. And y'all know my father was, y'all have been watching me. My father was unalived and he was murdered. So I know there's no textbook, but I can tell you right now, they don't act right. Not that there's a bar, but they just act weird. The girl Kaylee, her father, who wasn't there, there's an FBI profiler on the news talking about, this is before the dude was arrested, talking about, well, if I had to come up with a number one suspect, it'd be her father. Because he's acting very weird. He keeps inserting himself. He keeps saying these, what did he say? He kept saying these trigger words. Like, I don't know, there's trigger words apparently, but apparently to this FBI profiler, he was saying things that are triggers to him. And he's like, if I had to pick somebody, he'd be on the top of my list. Another thing I read in the files was one of the girls that got unalived, there was a coach. There was rumors of a coach that she might have been messing with. And this is what I mean by I had a video and it was erased. I made my decision the other day. I said, you know what? Instead of me making a true crime channel, I'm gonna keep my boxing channel and I'm gonna just do both. And I was gonna release 2 boxing videos along with the true crime video, and I was gonna put them in a playlist. So this way, if somebody subscribes to me and they're like, I don't want to hear about boxing, they could just go to the playlist. And the people that are here that only here for boxing, they could just go to the playlist instead of me making a separate channel. And I go on my Wondershare and it's all erased. 3 hours, bro, worth of work erased. I just got to do it again, but I remember most of it. But another one was the coach. there was rumors of her coach that she was messing with the coach. And I don't know how true that was, but I do know this. When they do a triangulation on his phone, they said they could place him there that night. But I also think he lived on the same street. And this guy moved and left state right after they died. Then there's an ex-boyfriend who, I don't know if his name is Jack Decor or Jack Showalter or some shit. One of the Jacks was like a street down. They find blood in the house. It's his blood. And when you're reading the investigation, it looks like they're zeroing in on him. I'm like, oh shit, I'm reading the book. I'm like, damn, they about to arrest this motherfucker. They about to get him. Oh, really? Really? Oh, they found more in his apartment. Oh, they found more. And then all of a sudden it stops. They don't even follow him no more. They don't even tell you what happened with him. They don't even tell you, oh, well, we stopped looking at him because of this. You're reading this and you're like, we go to his house, who is literally within walking distance of the crime, and I see what appears to be blood on the outside of the door. And then you're like, really? Oh shit. You start reading. Then you realize there's mad blood in his bathroom, mad blood like all over the place. And you're like, what the hell? And it's his blood, but still, it's like, why? And he's apparently a hunter. And then something happens. You don't even tell you why they stopped talking. Bro, this whole case is weird. It's weird as hell to me, bro. Yeah, straight down from the house, bro. This case is nuts, man. Then the frat. Let me see if I got a picture of the frat, how close they were at a frat party that night. Xana and Ethan. And for some reason, when I'm first hearing this and I'm reading this, you got to remember, I just started reading about this case and reading the files like 2 months ago. So when this is before I read the ISP documents. Before I read all this, I'm hearing all these true crime channels talk about it. I'm like, okay, so Xana and Ethan is at a frat house. Okay. When you hear that, right, you think what? They leave, right? Boyfriend, girlfriend, get in the car, go to a frat house, right? That's what it sounds like to you, right? That's what it sounds like. But then you actually read and you look at the Google Maps and you realize, no, bro, the frat house, you could see the frat house out the damn. If there wasn't a house in the way, I think you could literally see it. So where the crime occurred, the frat house is within walking distance, 200 yards. Everybody that's a suspect in this case is within walking distance, bro. I shit you not. I shit you not. The frat boys who I believe can be suspects are within walking distance. The dude Jack that was blood found in the apartment he was staying, he's within like 30 feet away. The damn coach that left state, he lived on the same street. I hear fighting, which sounds like a fight to me. That took place at the Whites. I believe the Whites is within 100 yards away. Then all these apartment buildings and all this crazy shit, they're all within like 10, 15, 20, 50 feet. Then the white car that's going around, here we go again. You find out that there's undercover cops that drive a car that looks just like that. And then you look at the way that they were acting the whole day. There's this person who put out the footage of the cops who started their shift all the way up. And I'm going to tell you what I found suspicious about them. What I find suspicious about them is not the fact that they were plainclothes cops, because I believe there's plainclothes cops in a lot of places. And I believe that their whole MO or their whole detail was to basically check up on college kids drinking and shit. I get all that. That's all cool, right? What I find very suspicious about those two officers is when they start their shift, they're on camera. There's this girl who looks like she's so intoxicated. She's giving one of the officers like a sexual look. I don't know if many people have seen that. And there's this other guy. The point is they stopped this girl. She's clearly intoxicated, bro. Clearly. She's literally looking at the cop with, if you're a man, you know. Men, you know, when a woman is like a young woman that's intoxicated and is giving you like a look, like she gave him a look, like if nobody was around, he would have been knocking that down, right? She's standing with a guy, they're intoxicated, they let them go. Seconds after they let them go, there's a pickup truck about to pull off, and they stop the pickup truck, and there's these dudes that's driving a truck. It's not his truck, and the people inside are intoxicated. The point is they're letting all these people go. All these people go. Fast forward hours later, they're now pulling everybody over for the most ridiculous thing, just for walking. One dude took a sign later on that night. Why? Because it happened around the time of the murders. Now, some dude took a sign. They're interrogating him like he don't rob 10 banks, bro. They're acting real, and I'm like, this is weird. These cops are acting really weird to me. Just a couple of hours ago, you didn't care people were high behind the car, drinking behind the car. Now, around the time of when these things are supposedly happening, they're on body cam making stops that look like, I'm gonna say it looks like they're making an alibi. That's what I took from it. It looks like, let's just get this shit on body cam, bro. Yeah, I'll show you the I think I have it on my playlist here. I'll show you what I mean about the cops and their erratic behavior. I don't trust cops, bro. I don't have no problem with yo, look, I'm a veteran, but I know there's a lot of piece of crap people that's in the military, right? I had problems with a lot of people in the military. And nobody guided me. Nobody guided me. And so I didn't trust anybody. Because I went to one duty base and everybody's following the rules. I go to the next duty base, everybody's breaking the rules, including the people higher up from me. What do? Well, if you're in the military, you know, you don't break ranks. You don't tell on people. That's how you get in trouble. You can't go, I got a problem with this guy, I'm going to go tell. That's not what you do in the military. You go to your next person in charge. But what do you do when the next person in charge got a problem with you? And I personally saw a lot of dishonesty, a lot of illegal shit at Fort Lewis for years. So it ain't hard for me to believe some cops doing some shady shit at all. Let me show you these cops, bro. Do they look at the beginning of your shift, you're like letting people go that's high and drunk. Later on, you're stopping people for stealing a sign and interrogating them. Like, he even says to his friend, did you see him take the sign? His friend's like, it's a sign. So you're just gonna let your friend take the sign, huh? You wasn't gonna stop him? What are you talking about? It just looks like they're on camera. They want to be on camera so the cops could say, we were here at this time. Couldn't have been us. Right? It just looks like that, because when you look at the car they're driving, you look at the car that the cops are driving, and now you put that car in front of the video I showed you minutes ago. It's a black and white video, y'all. It ain't hard to be like, wait a second, that car could be that car. And according to their own the report that they fill out, they admit to passing by that house like multiple times during the shift. They have to. Because it's part of their route. And they're on camera stopping these kids coming from the fraternity, which is like 30 feet, 50. Bro, I used to think that shit was like 2 blocks down, bro. That shit is close. Like, I could run from that building to that fraternity if I was to run as fast as I can. I'm being dead ass. If I was to run from that house to the fraternity place where all them frat boys were at, a minute, possibly even less. If I don't look both ways crossing that street and I just keep jogging right through the field, let me show you a picture of how close it is. Let me show you. Let me show you a picture. Okay, there you go. Add right here. Hold on. Hold on 1 second. Okay. Oh, wait. Do I have that comment is in the way? Hold on. My bad. I'll get to the comments in a second. Hold on. Y'all, can y'all see that? Hold on, wait. Hold up. Where's the full screen layout? There it goes right there. You see the Sigma Chi right here where my mouse is? This yellow dot right here is where the crime occurred. So let me see if I can make it even bigger. I want to show you something. Oh, wait, you know what? I got a better way to do this. Okay. Can y'all see this? Hold on, let me see. Hold on. Okay, because there's a delay. Okay. I don't know if you guys can see my let me see if I can put some paint here. All right, yeah, there you go. Okay, let me erase this real quick so I can show you what I'm talking about here. Wait, hold on. Okay, here we go. This is the frat house. Wait, the brushes. Let me make this a little bit thicker. Okay, that's what she said. Here, okay, right here. That building is the frat house. This is the field I'm talking about right here. Okay, hold on, my bad. Wait. This is the field I'm talking about right here. The unalivings happened right here. I'm showing this on a map to show you something. That stop I'm talking about where the kids are at and the cops is right here. Most of the people that's involved with this case, they're over here. They're over here. They're over here. They're over here. One kid with the blood, it's like a street over from here. And there's another picture that I'll show you. The point that I'm trying to tell you is that everybody involved with this case is within like they're like this. Hold on. The point that I'm trying to tell you is that Everybody involved in this case is within distance. Close. And what's crazy is there's more circumstantial evidence on all of them than the man sitting in jail for the murders. That's what puzzles me, bro. Yeah, that's what puzzles me. If they would have arrested any of the other 20 people I'm talking about, I'd have been like, all right, makes sense. No. You know what's so crazy? The two girls that are left alive, when asked if they know the guy, they've never heard of him. They never seen him in his life. They don't know him. They never heard of him. They never saw him. Yeah, that's right. That's right. One of the girls' jacket was found here. That's right. Thank you for pointing that out. One of the girls that ended up being unalived. Hold on, right here. Oh, I forgot. Let me get this off real quick. One of the girls that's unalived. Remember, I told you there's a stop with the cops. The stop takes place right here. Right here. Because the cops stop these kids that are coming from here. Remember the party I told you about? The kids are walking through this field like this. There's like 4 of them. And the cops stopped them right here on Taylor Avenue. There's a fire hydrant right here. One of the victims' jacket was found on that fire hydrant, bro. I mean, you want to talk about bro, I can go on for months about this case, bro. Months. There's so much shit on this case. It's crazy. And it does boggle your mind. And that's literally what I was spending my last 2 months on when I took I was still watching boxing, but I just took a break because, like I said, I was like, I've always liked true crime. So I didn't see much going on in boxing at the time. And I had already been pissed off with the whole, like I said, I'm not a Canelo fan. I just felt like people are snakes. I'm like, damn, bro, this dude that made some of y'all channels for the past 10 years. The least y'all could do is back him when he loses. So yeah, that's what I did for like the past month or so. I started looking into that case. And then I found out, like I said, the things that I found that was actually similar with that case and like JFK and like Charlie Kirk, there's similarities in those cases because with the mainstream media. Because you literally got outlets that are being paid to lie. They're being paid to lie. You got to ask yourself why. Because I hate to say it, any person with an 8th grade education that can read if you can read Cat in the Hat, you don't even have to be a big educational book. If you can read Cat in the Hat and got an 8th grade education, 7th grade, I'm gonna go lower, 7th grade. The DNA and forensic stuff can be a little bit confusing, but even that's not that confusing because they use graphs. So it'll say things like object MA dot this, and then there's a graph. You just go look up, oh, what is this? Go look at MD dot this. Oh, they're talking about the genes. So even that stuff that sounds like it's complicated isn't really. You just got to slow down, and because it's just like a doctor. Doctor use doctor verbiage. You know, you ever talk to your doctor and he writes some shit on the paper and you're like, bro, you didn't have to write those 5 unnecessary words, bro. All right. Basically, it's Sudafed, bro. All right. You didn't have to write all this extra crazy shit. Looks like a damn unsolvable problem. But it just says take Sudafed, right? It's like that. But even that, you could read where the objects are coming from on the forensic evidence. It's not hard to read. And you read this and you realize that he didn't do it. So then why are like Ashley Banfield, why are all these other channels, Court TV, Vinny with Court TV, why are all these people like doing all these topics telling you that this man did it? And yet what's so crazy is any other case, they'll go live and they'll show you evidence. But you know who actually almost turned around and changed his mind? Vinny from Court TV. He did a video on Brian Kohlberger, and I'm pretty sure somebody over there at Court TV said, hey, chill out. I think somebody told him to chill out, because when that FBI, when the forensic thing dropped on Halloween, that's another thing too. It's almost like they're hiding it, but they're showing you things and lies. I just think that whole Halloween was not a mistake. Think about how graphic this murder is. How bad these kids were unalived. So whose bright idea was it to give us forensic evidence regarding the blood, nail clippings, their deaths, defensive injury on Halloween? Whose bright idea was that? That's not a coincidence to me. But you got all these other outlets that are trying to tell you this man did it, and you have to ask yourself why. Well, it's no different than why they tried to tell you that Lee Harvey Oswald only shot 3 times and one bullet hit Senator Colony. What is it, Colony? Whatever the hell dude name is. Remember with JFK, I wasn't alive back then, but the case is 3 shots. The reason why they had to go with 3 shots is because the first shot completely missed and nicked somebody down the block. So because it nicked that person, they can't use that bullet. That's already 1 gone. So now you only left with 2. You only left with 2 bullets and mad wounds on JFK and Senator the dude. So that's why they come up with, well, 1 is the head. So now you're left with 1. That's why they try to tell the public, oh, okay, well, this one went through the back, hit Senator Colony in his shoulder, hit the bone, came down, made a right turn, hit the wrist, came out, made a left turn, came back up, made a U-turn, waited at the red light, came back, and then lodged back in the knee. Oh, and by the way, here goes the bullet that did it, and it's in pristine condition. And you're like, wait a second. That doesn't sound right. And you had people believe in that shit. We have to ask yourself, like, why are they lying? Because the truth would cause more problems. That's why. Because telling the truth would cause more money, more problems. And that area where those kids died is a college area. Let me ask you, what's better? What's better for you to, in your mind, if you were sending your kids to that college? That place is in the middle of nowhere. That college is like the reason why it's like a big money maker. You got kids that go to the college. So you got kids that go to that college and work. So the college also gets grants and all this other type of money. Also, the fraternities. You got people that once they're in fraternities and Greek life and stuff like that, that's to your death. You think just because you're in your 50s and 60s that you forget about your frat? No, people that run that university are connected to the frats. So what would you rather tell the public? You're sending your kids there. Which one sounds better? I'm gonna give you multiple, well, maybe two. Which one sounds better? Some kid that was taking a criminology class, autistic kid, by the way, was stalking these students and randomly picked that house. And because he was taking a criminology class, such a convenience, right? He was taking a criminology class or whatever, and he wanted to be like Dahmer and everything. So, because that's what they're basically trying to say, right? So what sounds better? That it's a one-off. Don't worry, your kids are safe. Or it was drugs, and there's some dangerous ass people in that area that have a lot of power in that town, and those kids were involved with drugs, and they didn't pay their money, or they were messing with people's drugs, and they literally got tortured and was sent a message because the kids' parents were addicts and also got arrested and were let off, and some of them were witnesses and rats, and they ratted on the wrong people. So either they ratted on the wrong people, or the kids are involved with some drugs. Either way, messages had to be sent, or messages had to be made. Don't worry, send your kid to college here. That doesn't sound good either. Or how about the cops? We, just so happens that people on our force was supposed to be protecting these kids, or they did it. Either way, bro, it doesn't matter. Anything sounds bad. You got to come up with something. But such a convenience that a kid that has autism, that was already taking criminology classes, is what they go with. Why? Because you could just let it go. You could just say it was a one-off. And that's why you would have them lie to you. Because I'm telling you right now, everything in this case is a damn lie. And people ask, well, why do you care? Why do you care, Shadow? Like the same way y'all care about boxing. Don't tell me you've never had somebody say to you, I don't know why you like boxing. I've had women say that to me before. I don't know why you like boxing. It's such a brutal sport. Two men are trying to kill each other. I'm like, I know. That's why I like it. That's why I actually like it, by the way. But it's not just the fact that people are getting hurt. It's the fact that, one guy, you got to figure him out. It's not just what you see on TV. It's just like people that watch golf. To some people, golf is boring. But to the people that actually watch golf, there's a lot of shit detailed in there. Boxing is the same way, right? Well, true crime does that to me, not to mention what happened to my father. But even before what happened to my father, that definitely put the icing on the cake. But even before what happened to my father, things like mysteries and stuff like that always got me going. So now I'm in this predicament where I like boxing and I also like true crime. So it's like my channel is going to look like when a woman is pregnant, and just some weird ass combination. So the best thing I can do is just separate the two and put them in a playlist. That's what I'm going to have to do. They said this weird gay kid shot Charlie Kirk in the neck with a. Yeah, I mean, come on. That's another thing. Like, come on. Think about that. I want you to think about that. Oh, yeah. And that's another thing, how you could tell when people are lying to you, and look, I'm not even here to like defend anybody else's conspiracy theory, but isn't it kind of also a coincidence that the one time they try to tell you that he got shot with that, they say his bone was like Superman? It's a miracle. It's a miracle his bone stopped that bullet, y'all. Of all the other times that the head would have been blown completely right off, that one time, though, he just happens to have very good bones. That's what I mean. You gotta, like, you could tell when they're lying to you, bro. These people are lying to you. But like I said, the Idaho 4 case, before I get off, The one thing I found, and I got to find out a way to put it inside the video that I didn't see nobody really talk about. I could give you a hint. The hint is it supports, it actually supports Kohlberger somewhat being connected with the feds in a way. It's not like direct evidence, but it would explain why the man pled guilty. Which, by the way, that doesn't really mean too much to me because he pled guilty. Plenty of people plead guilty because they're in a bad situation, y'all. Like that doesn't really, people that say that, I'm like, that doesn't really mean much to me. When you're wrongfully convicted or you're wrongfully charged with something, you're already in a state of shock. Like, how the hell did I get charged with this crime? I didn't do it. So if they charged you already, then common sense would be, well, if they already charged me, I could be found guilty too when you're in that situation. Because people might be like, well, why would you plead guilty? Think about it. If you didn't do anything and they charged you, you're going to be shocked. And you go to trial and you probably get arrested at first and you're like, this is ridiculous. They're going to find out I didn't do this. I'll just wait a little bit. They'll drop the charges. And then time goes on and you realize they're not dropping the charges. Then your lawyers come into you probably like, they're going to go with the death penalty, right? At some point you're going to be like, I can't believe I'm doing this, but I think I'm gonna plead out. I mean, if not, like, let's not act like people weren't sent to death row that were innocent before. Like, that shit happens. This so-called DNA evidence isn't even real DNA evidence. It's touch DNA. Think about that, by the way, before I get off of here. Touch DNA. Everything I just told you. So this man randomly picks a house, is able to unalive 4 kids, healthy kids, in under 20 minutes, clean up in 4 areas, leave 2 people alive, just because. And then leaves a knife sheath just because, but still was able to clean up in 4 other areas, or at least looks like he cleaned up in 4 other areas. And everything else that the with the police and the frat boys and this guy blood in his house, and then I didn't even get into the audio and all the other crazy stuff that went on with this case, bro. There's so much shit with this case. All that, and they still decided to charge him. No wonder why he would plead guilty. I probably would too. Because you're probably sitting back like, look at all these people that you could be looking at, but you're still focused on me. Somehow Touch DNA got in that house. Touch DNA. It ain't even a real DNA, y'all. That's like Touch DNA to me. It's like bootleg. Remember when you used to get the movies, that came out in the movie theaters before we had all these apps and shit? Before Redbox, you used to get the bootleg movies, right? You used to go to the guy in the corner, you get the bootleg movie, you stick the shit in, and it's like the picture's all messed up. You got people in the damn getting up, getting popcorn. Right in the middle of a good spot, dude getting up on your video. That's Touch DNA to me compared to all the other DNAs they got. Got the bootleg version. Yeah, and then there's unknown male DNA too as well. Yeah, man, it's just crazy. What time is it, man? 3:12. Hawk, are you still there? I know some of the people that watch me for boxing are like, what the hell did this kid go off on a rant today? He's nuts. I told you I couldn't sleep. You're gonna watch it. Let me show you a picture of it real quick. Now, mind you, Tycho, mind you, keep in mind that when you watch that, I don't agree, and I'm sure Fuzzy here will tell you too. I'm sure Fuzzy will tell you. You could watch the Amazon Prime documentary. It's good to get information. It's good for that. If you're not familiar with the case, it's good. Just know that all the part that they say, this points to Brian, this points to Brian. Be very wary of that. And remember what I'm telling you, because that shit ain't going to tell you everything I'm saying. That when you watch that documentary, it's made on purpose to make you think Brian did it, is what I'm saying. And what I'm telling you is that it's good to watch to get all the other information. Like if you don't know anything about this case, it's good to watch that because you get to know the names, you get to know the people that passed away. You get to learn what the police that are doing the investigation. You get to see the house and you get to get a little bit of background of the people that were unalived. It's great for all that. But as far as like actual facts of who did it, yeah, when it comes to Brian, just remember, it's made to make you think that Brian did it. Brian didn't do this shit, bro. And if he did, I'm gonna say this. If he did, he didn't do it by his damn self. That's for sure. That's for sure. And I don't think he did it. I don't think he did it. Because hours later, he was like, what was the footage where they showed him? Hours later, they got a footage of him inside some supermarket, right? Now, I want you to think about this. Think about all the wounds these kids had. He would have had cuts. But believe me, if he's such a smart kid, I don't think he'd be walking around after doing something like that. I think he'd probably be wherever he's at, recuperating, getting rest. You got to remember, 4 adults, bro. They keep, they insulted our intelligence with this shit. They insulted our intelligence, the public. You insult my intelligence, bro. What is he? What is he? Is he Jason Bourne or is he not? 1 second, you're telling me he's Jason Bourne. But then he leaves. It's crazy, bro. Yeah, buying groceries at Costco. Anyway, look, I appreciate y'all for tuning in. I hope everyone had a happy holiday. Thank you for watching my rant. And I hope y'all have a blessed day. All right. Thank you for watching. Have a great Black Friday.